What's going on, guys? Welcome to Total Football, where we discuss everything football. And yes, we are sponsored by the One Football app for all your latest football news. So hit that link in the description, download the app, select your team for all your news, guys. It's been a while. You lot have been asking for this show back, so we had to bring it back. And to be fair, you know that I love talking about football just in general. So yeah, man, I'm glad that the demand was for it to come back. So yeah, let's get back into your questions, man. First one, at Mr. Mac Son. In terms of tactics and formations, it feels like the traditional number 10 role has disappeared. We don't see ballers like Kaka, Raquelme, Aymar, etc., who used to cause havoc just behind the striker. What are your thoughts? Absolutely, bruv. And that's why, like, overnight, man are going on that Ozil shit, bruv, and players of that ilk. But the facts are, yeah, like, football's changed, innit? Like, the way football is being consumed has changed. So because of that, formations have changed. Certain things are more important than the others. There's a question in here about strikers, which I will touch on, and it will kind of encompass everything that I'm saying. But if you look at the traditional type of number 10s, like your One Matters, like your Ozils, these players have just been phased out and they've been replaced with more workman-like players. That's why, like, in the number 10 role now, you're seeing players, you're more likely to see like a Jesse Lingard type player as the third midfielder. Or like when you look at Liverpool, they don't really have like a proper number 10. Firmino drops in deeper, links up and kind of does the creative thing. They'll play a midfield of Wijnaldum, Milner and Henderson, bruv. Where's the creativity there? None. Or Fabinho, Henderson, Wijnaldum. There's no creativity there. Do you know what I mean? Like, the creativity is more down to the wide players now. The wide attacking forwards who are kind of strikers, but they're wingers, like a hybrid of wingers and strikers. So, like, yeah, like the actual profile of footballers have changed. So it's not enough now to just be a creative number 10. You have to be able to win the ball. You have to be fit to get up and down. Preferably, you need to have a bit of pace about you, like a bit of physical presence. Like, you can't just be like a Mata or Ozil or like an old school David Silva, where they used to be quite slight players, very intelligent, but not too physical. You know what I mean? Them players don't really exist in football no more. Like, I couldn't name you any that are actually thriving at the top level and playing anymore, bruv. Because Mata and Ozil have been phased out by both of their teams, really. It's unfortunate because that position, it's a specialist position, and I think if accommodated, those kind of players are the players. They're the difference that decide games for you, innit? Those are the kind of players that I grew up watching. The proper number 10s, like the Ronaldinhos and that, yeah, that, like, these are the men that used to decide football matches for you, bro. Like, if you had a number 10 on your back, that meant you were the coldest guy in your team. You were the coldest. Like, you were the game changer. You were the clutch player, bro. And now it's like, them players don't really exist, and there's more kind of like false nines, or like, for instance, now Rashford, where's the 10? Rashford's not a 10. He's not a creative player. He just scores goals. And you look at Neymar as well. Neymar is probably the closest thing to a number 10 like that there is, because Neymar's not an out and out striker. But other than a Neymar, like what, Mbappe is not a 10 like that. Let me go through world football. Do you know what I mean? The Manes, the Salahs, they're not 10s like that. Whether they wear the 10 on their back or not, they're not 10s, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So them kind of players have been phased out of football and they don't exist. And it does make me sad because those are my favourite kind of players. And that's the kind of player that I always wanted to model my game on when I play. The player that plays in between the lines, who's clever, that links the midfield and the attack. But yeah, football's just changed, guys. We just have to accept that, innit? And I think that that's important when also comparing players from different generations. Like when people compared the Shearers to the Kanes, you got to understand that Shearer played in an era where it was all right to just be good at finishing in the box, blood. Like, you can't do that now in today's game. In today's game, Alan Shearer, have you not playing for no decent team, blood? I'm not saying Newcastle were decent, because they weren't, but I'm just saying, yeah, that if Alan Shearer was just a fox in the box in this era, bruv, like, he would struggle to get in this England side, bruv, because football's moved on. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that, guys. If there's anything you think that I missed out on that, man, it's a very good question. And it leads on to this one. Marco Constable, it says, in the modern game, do you think the art of finesse shots and finishing is lost, as most players today tend to go for power? Hope it beats the keeper. Love your content. It's not even the finesse, should I say. I think the art of finishing has died. There's no out-and-out finishers really anymore. I think Lewandowski, yeah, is like the last of like your number 9, like in the box, ice cold finisher, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? He's the last of it. He's the last of the just pure finishers. Now every striker, because the way the game's changed, every team's playing one up front. Like, every striker has to be able to press, has to be able to hold the ball, link play, do everything. And because of that, I think the finishing suffers, bro. Like, when you look at all of these guys, like even like your Cavani's and that, Cavani's not a good finisher, bro. He just scores goals because he gets loads of chances. But, like, he misses loads too. Like, gone are the days of, like, the Michael Owens, do you know what I mean? Where it was, like, one chance and you know he's going to score. Like, the Thierry Henry's. Like, the closest to that kind of player now is probably Aubameyang, bruv. But his overall game is so shit that in this era of football, yeah, that's why when I called man the Gabonese Jamie Vardy, yeah, a man thought I was taking a piss out of him. I wasn't. I was just comparing them in the sense that both of them outside the box don't really offer much, bruv. And in the era before this, it wouldn't even have been anything you'd criticise, because the players like the Michael Owens, the Inzaghi's, the Raúls and that, them man were just scoring goals and that was it. Do you know what I mean? And that was acceptable in the era of football, bruv, because they usually had a strike partner that was probably the more technical of the two that would link it. You would have like the hold up, like the Heskies, then the Owens. There would always be someone like a foil to play off, innit? But in this new system of playing one up front, just being a finisher is not enough to make you a top tier player. You've got to be able to hold the ball. You've got to be able to be clever enough, do you know what I mean, to give on goal. You have to be able to position yourself well. You have to be able to literally bring others into the game. Like, your job is not just to score goals, which is why you notice now the wider players are scoring more goals and the more central players are getting more assists, like your Firminos, like your Cavani's or your Benzema's and that. Like, Benzema's a forward, a striker, but he don't score more goals than the players playing outside of him. He doesn't, because that's not his job, innit? Like, football's changed. So I think that the art of finishing has taken a back seat to the overall game as a striker. And because of that, when these guys are getting into positions, like they're not as clinical. Or they could also just be tired because they're doing a lot more running and they're involved a lot more in the game than, say, a Ruud van Nistelrooy was. Do you see what I mean? So it could be a combination of both. And that was my criticism with Rooney a lot of the time. He ran so much and was so involved in the game that sometimes by the time he got into the box, he was just fucking knackered, bruv. Like, and he was shanking it all over the place. So it could be a combination of both. Let me know what you think. But generally, I just think that the art of just being a pure finisher, it's just not enough now in football. So, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because you look at Chicharito Hernandez, one of the best finishers at United, but because his link play out of the box wasn't good enough, we simply couldn't legislate for keeping him, bruv. And it's the same with Lukaku, bruv. Man could talk about his ratio of, yeah, he scores X amount of chances, this, that, and the other, but his out of the box play is so bad, man can't carry him for 90 minutes. At Pranav 61987, Harry Kane is likely to surpass Rooney for most goals for England, but is he a better overall player than Rooney? It depends on what you mean overall. If you mean is he a more complete player, he's not a more complete player, but as a striker, he's a better finisher than Rooney, absolutely. He's better in the air than Rooney. He's better at finishing with his left foot than Rooney as well. Rooney's left foot wasn't really saying much. I think generally he's just a better finisher. Like, Harry Kane's way more clinical than Wayne Rooney. Like, Wayne Rooney would strike a ball with power, mainly to score goals. Harry Kane he kind of strikes the ball with the inside of his foot, but with power in it. Like, Harry Kane is just a lot more clinical than Wayne Rooney. But Wayne Rooney's overall game in terms of pace, strength, like, like going past people, stuff like that. They were two different types of strikers. Again, like they could play together. Harry Kane, Rooney could play off Harry Kane. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not very fair to compare like them as complete players, because complete players, they play different roles in the team and they're different. But do you know what I mean? Like in terms of just finishing, Harry Kane's better. Do you know what I mean? All round player who's got more in their locker, you have to say Rooney, because Rooney could probably play more positions than Harry Kane. So there's no debate who's the more complete player. Do you see what I mean? So overall, that's very vague, man, when you say overall game. But Rooney is definitely the more versatile of the two. Like you could play Rooney to do a job in midfield. He wouldn't do a great one, do you know what I mean? But he'll do a better job than Harry Kane. You could play Rooney on the left wing. He wouldn't do a great job, but he'll do a better job than Harry Kane. But if I have to pick a striker to just get me goals, in terms of finishing, it's got to be Harry Kane. It's got to be Harry Kane. I think he's the best finisher I've seen playing for England since Michael Owen. Let me know what you guys think. All right, next one is from @Stricky Football. If you personally could play for any current manager in the game, who would you choose and why? I don't know in the game, bruv, because the thing is with managers, you don't know their personalities, innit? I'm not going to pretend to know every manager's personalities. I don't. But what I would say in the Premier League, I think that Jurgen Klopp looks like the one manager that you just cannot hate, bruv. Like, it looks like Klopp's got banter. It looks like the players love him and want to play for him. Like, when you see him in interviews, he's always proper light-hearted and just seems like a lad, innit? And I think, as a player, why the fuck would you not want to play for Jurgen Klopp? Like, honestly, I think that one of the biggest mistakes United made was not securing Jurgen Klopp when they had the chance, innit? I think Pep's an amazing coach, but I've heard there's too many different, like, perspectives on Pep Guardiola. Some players like Samuel Eto'o, Zlatan, these men hate him, but then they like Mourinho. So it's down to a personality thing, whereas I've never heard a player come out and say, yo, Klopp is a pussy, yo. Like, no players. I've never ever heard that from any players, not opposing players, not players that have played for him. So it's one of them ones. It's like a manager like Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah, look how long he's been managing, and you can count on one hand how many players have really come out and said, you know what, I don't really like Alex Ferguson, but I think Roy Keane's the only player, yeah, that like is openly doesn't fuck with him. Like, openly don't fuck with him, bruv. Do you know what I mean? And Roy Keane's a prickly character anyway. So because of that, like, I wouldn't take Roy Keane's word for anything. Like, Roy Keane looks like he doesn't even get on with his own wife. So it's one of them things where I think just based on that purely, it has to be Jurgen Klopp in the Premier League, guys. Let me know what you think. Opinions on Ronaldinho and Messi @Mr. BHAFC. Brandon. You know what it is, bro? I've seen recently in the media, Ronaldinho and Messi have both come out basically lauding each other and complimenting each other massively and saying, oh no, Ronaldinho is the best player I've ever played with. Messi said, well, he said he's the best player to ever play for Barca, and then Ronaldinho's come out and said, I always looked after Messi because I knew he was better than me and he was the future and that. And I think it's just two amazing footballers. They're amazing footballers, isn't it? There's good players, there's great players, they're amazing players, bro. Ronaldinho and Messi are amazing footballers. And I throw R9 into that bracket. These men are just God level footballers, yeah? And they just have the ultimate respect for them because real recognize real, innit? So Messi will never come out and say he's better than Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho will never come out and say he's better than Messi because them man just respect each other so much. And for me, they're one and two ever, and Ronaldinho's number one, and that's just it. Like, I believe, like, the best way I could put it is, I've seen players do stuff similar to what I've seen Messi do. You know, there's a lot of low center of gravity players that dribble the way Messi does, but they can't do it consistently. But you see it, like, Even players like Hatem Ben Arfa and stuff like that, yeah. If you see some of the goals he scores, they're very Messi-esque. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just that he doesn't have the level to do it consistently. I haven't seen a guy in world football do with a football that even resembles anything like what Ronaldinho could do. Not even resembles, not even looks like it, bruv. The closest thing I've seen to that is possibly Neymar. And Neymar can't even do that. Do you see what I mean? Like the swag and the elegance and just the ball manipulation that Ronaldinho had when the ball's coming and he's turning this way and flicking it over that shoulder and spinning past man and that. Messi's not doing that. Messi dropping shoulders, nutmegging man and using the little short man dribbling thing, yeah? But Ronaldinho was pretty much 6 foot, bruv. 6 foot, decent stature guy. Had the physical strength to hold man, roll man and do all that. But then he was flicking balls over man's head, through his legs, flip-flap, fucking passing the ball off his arse and shit like that, bruv. Messi ain't doing that. With all due respect to Leo, yeah? Leo's numbers are wavy. He's playing in an era as well where he's playing against some shit defenders in comparison to Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was playing against some of the best defenders in the history of modern day history of football and making them look like pricks, all of them. Do you know what I mean? And that's not disrespecting Leo because you can only beat what's in front of you. But Ronaldinho was mugging off Nestas and Cannavaros and Yap Stams and that, blood. Like, those are the level of ballers he was killing, and the John Terrys and that. Like, he was really killing these men. So it's the same with R9. He was really killing these man. He was really killing Rio Ferdinands and that. Like, so it's one of them things where I think that they both have a mutual respect for each other. And that just comes from them both knowing that they've trained with each other and both seen each other do things. I think, yo, these men are cold, innit? Like, he's a bad boy. So I think that it's only right that they speak extremely highly of each other. Do you know what I mean? Like Ian Wright played with Dennis Bergkamp, and he'll turn around and probably say, yo, Dennis Bergkamp's the best player ever to play in the Premier League just because he's played with him. And when you play with a man, you start to respect what they do a bit more. So both of the quotes from Dino and Messi are very, very valid, bruv. In my opinion, I just think Ronaldinho is the greatest ever, purely based on the fact that if you take away what both of them are saying about each other, I've never seen a man that can do anything resembling a Ronaldinho, like, ever. And I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Whereas I think that what Messi's doing looks like what Maradona did, but just better. Do you see what I mean? The whole short man, left-footed thing. But the whole Ronaldinho thing looks like it's never going to be done again. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. Good question, though. At Man Like Memphis 1 with the Memphis DP, bruv. Why do you think most teams struggle to beat the first man from corners? The managers not give emphasis on attacking set pieces enough. Surely it can be improved with practice and turn draws to wins. See? And again, this comes down to modern day football again. Very good question. Think about it. You know what I just said about defenders? Have you noticed now, modern day football, defenders, all of this emphasis on ball playing centre backs and all these defenders being able to do these, but now these defenders cannot attack the ball no more. So I feel like set pieces are not prioritised because man are not good in the air no more. Like, look at Manchester United. Victor Lindelof, shit in the air, bruv. It's a prime example. Back in the day, both your centre-backs used to be good in the air. They used to be able to head the ball. These men were getting you, like, you could expect Steve Bruce or Gary Pallister or even a John Terry. Like, John Terry's chipping in with about 8 goals a season, blood. He's chipping in with about 8 goals. You could rely on your centre-halves from set pieces. No. Every centre-half wants to be fucking great on the ball. John Stones, Otamendi, all these fucking guys, bruv. How many of these men are winning headers in the box now, bruv, when you put the ball in? None of them. So what's the point in working on set pieces, yeah, if your fucking centre-half can't even header? Like, the art of heading the ball is simply gone out of the game. Who can head a ball like a Alan Shearer, like a Teddy Sheringham, like a Ruud van Nistelrooy? Like, in the modern game, strikers can't even head the ball, bruv. Look at Manchester United, Anthony Martial, bruv. Like, I'm going to put the ball in the box for him, but he can't head up. Do you see what I mean? Same with Marcus Rashford. Like, put ball in the box for him, he can't head up. Look at Arsenal. Can Aubameyang head the ball? Not really. Do you know what I mean? Can Lacazette head the ball? Not really. These men can't head up, bruv. It's only Harry Kane, probably, out of Harry Kane and Sergio Aguero, out of probably like the top strikers in the league, I'm gonna actually head the ball. And Aguero can't head the ball like the old school strikers, like, do you know what I mean? Like the fucking, like the Michael Owens, like the fucking, like, I'll just go outside the Prem, but like Oliver Bierhoffs, Christian Vieri's, like all these men could header, fam. Like proper header, Klinsmann. These men were literally like, they use their head like a foot, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, man can't head the ball no more. The art of actually heading the ball has died. Not just from centre backs, but just in general, because football now is played predominantly on the floor. So because of that, you're just not seeing headed goals. So man are not focusing on deliveries no more because they know that we're probably not going to score from these, innit? Like, that's just my interpretation from it. Because players haven't become shit overnight to the point where they just can't get the ball past the first man. I just think that they're not practicing corners like that no more. I genuinely think that a lot of these players, when they're taking corners, they're probably not practicing them in training. Like, not to put them in the box. They're probably doing little short, clever ones and stuff like that. But I doubt that they're practicing just knocking the ball into the box, because most teams do not have a target man or a man that's capable of scoring headers like that anymore, bruv. Like, you go through the Premier League teams out in the top 6. How many players can actually head the ball? All right, let me know what you think in the comment section. At Shivan Goberdan, I don't know if I got that correct, but says, yo Rants, what's your opinion on the Madrid Galacticos in the early 2000s? And in your opinion, why weren't they successful as they should have been? Hashtag total football. I think it's quite simple, to be honest. That Galactico team with the Zidane, Ronaldo and all them man there, bruv. Them man didn't win nothing. They won, I think David Beckham only won a league title in his last season at Real Madrid. And the simple thing is balance, bruv. That's why they didn't win shit, bruv. Like, other people talk about, oh yeah, this team was good, that team was good, and they talk about the Barcelona team. It was nothing to do with that. They didn't have no balance, bruv. Zidane was playing on the left wing, fam. Zidane's a 10. And Zidane ain't got no pace. And he's 6'2", and he's playing on the left mid. Because Real Madrid were more interested in buying players, yeah, to sell shirts than they were to actually having a balanced team that could win things. And also, selling Claude Makelele as well fucked Real Madrid. Like, because Claude Makelele wasn't he wasn't a marquee player, like, Real Madrid probably didn't think they were going to miss him as much. But when Makelele left Real Madrid, their man fell apart as well. So I think it's very funny. It's funny when you look at that, because everyone remembers that great Real Madrid team, but they didn't really win nothing for the players that they had. Figo, Raul, Ronaldo, Zizou, like Guti, Hierro. Who else did they have? Roberto Carlos. I can't remember who played centre back with Hierro now. Like, my brain's gone blank at the moment. But man had some fucking ballers, cuz. Like, real bad man ballers, and they didn't do shit, fam. And that's what it is. For the man that they had on paper, that team is supposed to be clarting man up. And they simply couldn't do it. So I just think it comes down to balance. And that's why I always say, bruv, like, a good balanced team that fits a certain profile will always be just names for name's sakes. And I think we're seeing that with the Liverpool team versus the Man City team now. I think man for man, Man City are clear, bruv, in terms of the 25-man squad. But I just think in terms of the balance, the profile, what Klopp needs man to do a job, and how well drilled they are, I think that Liverpool are just better, because their players are... The level of football they're playing is higher than the sum of the part of the players, if that makes sense. And I think that City are just playing probably to the level of their players, or maybe just slightly below. And I'm not blaming the manager for that, I'm saying it's the manager's fault, but I'm just saying that I think that Klopp's formula is just better. Let me know what you think in the comment section for that one. And last but not least, we have at TK from LZ, and it says, are the Invincibles overrated? It was a great feat, but they are surely not the greatest Premier League side ever. Chelsea 04-05 scored more, conceded less, got more points, but only lost one game. Same with last season's Liverpool side. Where did the Invincibles rank in the greatest Premier League teams? I completely agree with you, bro. I think that the Invincibles are the most overrated Premier League team ever. And I'm not saying that just because it's Arsenal. I'm saying that because they never won a fucking Champions League. They drew like 11 games or something like that. Like, who gives a shit, bruv? Like, you might as well lose a game and win a game. If you lose one, win one, you get 3 points, yeah? If you draw 3, you get 3 points. So, you get more points if you lose a game and win a game than you do if you draw 2, blood. So, who cares? Yeah, cool, you didn't lose a game, but you drew 11, bruv. Do you know what I mean? What is it? The last season, I think Tottenham lost like 11 games and still made top 4, blood. Because other teams were drawing bare games. You're better off losing. So, I think they're massively overrated. I think that it's great to say, yeah, we went unbeaten and that. It's amazing, but your points tally wasn't impressive. You only get, do you know what I mean? Like, you won the trophy. Yeah, they can say they've got a gold trophy and that, but really no one cares, bro. Like, the Chelsea 04-05 team was better. The United 99 team was better, that done the treble. The United 08 team that won the Champions League was better. I think this current Man City team is better. This current Liverpool team is better. Even though they haven't won a Premier League yet. They might win the Premier League this season. We have to hold judgment on... Actually, no, we don't need to hold judgment on this current Liverpool team because they won the Champions League. Do you see what I mean? So in terms of all of those teams I've mentioned, they're all better than the Arsenal team. All of them. Do you know what I mean? It's not even a debate. Like, I couldn't care less about the Invincible thing. Like, it's a great feat on paper. It sounds great. But the bottom line is, yeah, you drew 11 games, innit? Like, it's all about what your points tally is and how many games you won. And you've literally drawn a third of your games. So, like, fuck it, innit? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Obviously, if you support Arsenal and you're a bit sour, yeah, and you think that man's only saying that just to get at you, then, yeah, you might be upset by that. But honestly, like, man's not here to fire shots at no one, innit? Like, this isn't, I ain't got my United hat on. This is just a general football opinion show. And I genuinely think that that team is massively overrated. The same way the Manchester United team won the treble, but I still think our 08 team was better. I do. Do you know what I mean? A man will say, yeah, but we won 3 trophies. It's a different era. Look at the teams we were playing against, bruv. In 08, I think we are up against better teams. I really do. I think that Chelsea team that we beat in the final in 08 probably wins the Champions League in 99 against all the other teams that we played. So you have to compare the team, not just what they won, but who they were up against and what players they had at that time. And I think that the Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez Manchester United beats the York and Cole United, blood. It does, innit? Carrick Scholes or Keenan Scholes, blood. Beckham, Giggs. I just think that 08 team with Ferdinand and Ferdinand Vidic, Evra, beats Gary Neville, Ronnie Johnson, Henningberg, Yapstam, whatever, bruv. I think that 08 team classed the 99 team. Let me know what you think in the comments about the Invincibles team, guys. And if you're a United fan, you can let me know, do you think that the 08 team was better than the 99 team? Because I stand by that. That was your Total Football Show, guys. Sponsored by the One Football app. Links in the description. Make sure you get downloading the One Football app, guys, and enjoy. Make sure you follow me on the socials at Rants and Bants on Twitter and Instagram. And we have a special Flex and Rant show coming on Tuesday on the United Stand with a special guest. It is the international break, so me and Flex decided that, yo, we're going to give you something different this week. So look out for that. What can I say? It's been emotional. And obviously, if you want your King merch as well, everyone's hollering at me, asking me where I get my stuff from. Every video I do, you'll have a discount code. It's an ongoing discount code in the description. Sometimes I forget to plug it and then people are DMing me on Instagram. There's a link to the King website, and then you put Man Like Rants at the checkout and you get 10% off. All of this is in the description below, but sometimes I forget to plug it, but I've remembered today, guys. So go and enjoy that. Much love for tuning in, and look out on Twitter. Again, I'll be doing another Total Football this week, as well as 2 Rants Red Talks, and then obviously you get your Sheffield United match review. So more content coming for you this week. It's been emotional.